to put all power. To know how that idea arose in the mind of the originator of the heavens and the earth, and how the idea of devil arose in the mind of Yakub.
Yes.
Because now we are the new Yakub.
Hold on, let's stop right there. We are the new Yakub. But you got to study that word reverse in order to understand what the minister's talking about. Come on.
That's right. And the Yakub's history is for us to study how to make a God. But it's the reverse of how to make devil.
And Yakub's history is for us to study in how to make God. Go on.
Right. You begin making devil by going among the dissatisfied. You begin by telling lies. You begin by making your laborers liars.
Liars.
And then murderers. Over time, the lie and the murder can be birthed into the nature of the people that you are making. And that's deep.
Over time, read it again.
Yes, it says over time, the lie and the murder can be birthed into the nature of the people that you're making.
Now, because Yakub is a made man, grafted from the original, the brown germ, not allowing the black germ to even participate in the graftation. In other words, when you got a darker hue, you only wanted the lighter to mate with the lighter until you came up with Caucasian. But he is not original.
That's right. Okay. It says, so that's what a devil is. He's a liar and a murderer and an opponent of the God of truth and life.
Okay. It was bred into him. It's his nature. All Yakub did was just brought what is natural for the Caucasian to do. I mean, just look around the world today. Look at, you can, well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just look at it for yourself. Come on, baby.
Right.
We ain't gonna waste too much time talking about him. It's time to make gods now.
That's right. Now you're going to make a God. So you reverse the process.
Reverse the process.
But you start with the same group of the dissatisfied.
The same group of the dissatisfied. And let me say that Master Father Muhammad, when he appeared in North America, look at how Yakub made devil on like a track.
That's right.
Playing with two magnets. One side a track, the other side repel. And that's the way Master Father Muhammad came to America, looking like us, but kind of unlike us.
Right.
But was teaching us about our people in the East.
That's
okay?
Right.
That attracted us.
That's right. We didn't
selling us silks.
Yeah.
From the East.
Because we didn't even know we had brothers and sisters from the East.
Hey, we were slaves. And so here's somebody that's teaching us a knowledge of ourselves.
That's
Come
right.
on.
It says, so you find among them those most willing to suffer for the sake of change.
Those most willing to suffer for the sake of change.
Then you start by telling them the truth, which gives them life, spiritual and physical. Then the more they love the truth and love the life that truth dictates, they become the willing participants in the making of a people that will bring into existence the new heaven, the new earth, that whole new civilization.
All right. So, Mr. Yakub, I'm not Mr. Let me, Dr. Yakub. Okay. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, through Sister Minister Ava Muhammad, said we should call him Dr. Yakub. In other words, he was a medical doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, because he found
That's right.
the science of the gene, the recessive gene, the brown gene. Okay, and he also had a doctrine that he left with his people on how to rule the original man with the forgotten technology. And reverse that, Master Father Muhammad. No, just not Master Father Muhammad. Allah coming in the person of Master Father Muhammad. More than a doctor, but had a doctrine that he's teaching us on how to give life to the dead based on truths that we had never known. that goes all the way back to 7 to 8 trillion years.
That's right.
Huh? Connecting to the God that created the universe from nothing. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our brother Jabril said it, he had forgotten most, but he remembered.
Yeah.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said about the universe, the God that Master Father Muhammad taught him about the God that created the universe from nothing. And then he went into the mind of Yakub and taught him on what Yakub's mind used to make devil.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so now we're going to read from, what's that?
Together.
We're going to read from
John 12.
John, the book of John. But before I get into the book of John, let me say this. On behalf of our beloved sister, Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad, you know, she helped the minister to put this study guide together. And what we are about to read is a witness in a future being perfect tense of who she is.
Okay.
Now, in the study guide, it talks about 6 Marys, and she is one of those Marys. She's a prototype of one of those Marys in a future being perfect tense. In other words, the history of Jesus did not happen like it's written in the Bible. So when I found out through the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad it didn't happen like it's written in the Bible, then that means people and characters had to fulfill those characters that are talked about in the Bible.
That's right.
Please read of this particular Mary.
Okay. This is John 12, 1, 2, and 3. Then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead.
Okay, the black man
Yes.
in America, Lazarus.
Yes.
Come on.
Whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served.
Mm-hmm.
But Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of the ointment.
Now, my wife and I are writing a book. It's entitled FOIMGT, an exemplary example. And I asked the question because I've been in Atlanta. We were here when she was the regional minister here in the southern region. In fact, I was blessed by Allah to be her captain. My wife was on her staff. And so because of the way some of the disciples treated Mary, in other words, they didn't want to accept Mary or the Marys as being a disciple. If you will look at the book of the picture of the Last Supper, you will see a woman sitting on the right side of Jesus. They tried to call it a man. No, it's not a man. Go look at the picture. It's a female. And Mary was the closest one to Jesus of all of her, of his disciples. So I wrote in my book, and I sent a copy of it to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and a copy to Sister Minister Ava Muhammad, and I even talked to her husband about it. I said that this woman, this prototype, Mary, that used an expensive oil to anoint Jesus' head, and not only that, she took the hair and she used it to wipe his feet. That is our beloved sister and Minister Ava Muhammad fulfilling that prophecy. As Minister Farrakhan said, no prophet can be considered a prophet until what he prophesied about has been fulfilled. She fulfilled one of those 6 Marys that is talked about in the study guides. All women, especially the black women, can fulfill those 6 Marys, but she is the one that anointed, using her wisdom to surrender and submit to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And from my perspective, the two of them entering a course of study.
That's right.
He, Minister Farrakhan, dictating to her. No modern technology. She used pen and paper to write and strive all of the study guides, the self-improvement study guides, and then compile them. The two of them gave birth to the most serious document ever, since the coming of Allah in the person of Master Father Muhammad and raising the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And this is how we are going to become gods. Look at the title. Study Guide 19. The knowledge of God. The subtitle is Who is God? Now we into 19b. The key to the kingdom of God. Oh, an old world is going out and a new world is coming in. Where we at, baby?
That's right, and I thank Allah for our sister.
Oh.
And the knowledge that
she
put together in here to help the minister.
Yes, yes, yes. And she will be forever missed, but her work was not in vain. No. And we don't think not of her as being dead. No, no, no. She's here. She just finished another study guide and got it to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan on time. So she lives. Think not of the dead as being dead, for they're all around you, but you perceive not. So let's move into more of the making of gods.
Okay, so study guide 19b, Sister Minister Abraham Muhammad's introductory letter. Okay, it states on page 61. Okay, my mother knew she was in trouble. Now this is the minister speaking.
This is the minister speaking.
Okay, she went to God. Lord, help me. The more she prayed, all of her supplications and prayers were going down into the womb.
Into the womb.
She was making me a man of God without even knowing what she was making. It was uncertain circumstances. Do you hear what I am saying? I am here to tell you, if you do not have a man, remember God. My mother did not know that the circumstances around which I was conceived in her womb would make me that man that I am today.
Wow.
Now she wanted a girl. What does that mean? It means that she would make a child with characteristics that represents the feminine side of the nature of God.
That's key, brothers. That's real key. I want the brothers to really listen at me, because we will not be allowed to go into the hereafter or into this kingdom that's going to be established on earth with an attitude of the YOU. Yeah. Again, I mentioned last week, there are 3 chromosomes of X's between the female and the male. She have 2 X chromosomes. We have 1. And then we have a Y. The Y, from my perspective, I could be wrong, but that's where that dog gene lies. That's where that potential to make devil lies. And we don't have to remove it, but if you're going to follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through Minister Farrakhan, you're going to have to master it. Right. Okay? And the only way you can do that, you have to become in contact with the feminine characteristics of the nature of God. Yeah. That characteristic is going to pop up again if we get to the reading. If not, I will mention it before we get off.
That's
Read
right.
on, baby.
And that's that ego.
That's that ego.
That's right.
Y-O-U. X-Y.
Okay, he says, it means that she would make a child with characteristics that represent the feminine side of the nature of God, which is mercy, compassion, forgiveness, long-suffering. It takes that kind of person to redeem a people in the condition that we are in. And that's Minister Farrakhan.
That's Minister Farrakhan speaking at the, he's speaking in Atlanta at the women's only, where the women complain. He had spoke to the men only, and women in Atlanta complain, say, hey, we're speaking to men only. We want to go to the Million Man March. But he said, no, well, I don't want you to come to the Million Man March, but I will do a women's only here in the city of Atlanta.
And the women that were complaining, not necessarily with MGT, they were just women are people.
Yes.
You know, our people, you know, that love the minister, and they wanted to be
They
a part
wanted
of
to
it.
be
They
a
wanted
part.
to hear him.
And believe it or not, some did come to the meeting, man, Marge. They were there.
Okay, it goes on to say, the only value of my introduction to this phase of the course lies in the moment that it provides.
Now, this is Sister Minister Ava Muhammad speaking. Please, student minister,
Okay.
listen at the majesty of her perception of this man Farrakhan.
Okay. It says, the moment is that brief pause when the student recognizes the magnitude of what is being taught.
That's her.
I opened with the excerpt from Minister Farrakhan's historic address to Women Only, Atlanta, 1994, because in a few words, it offers profound insight into the teacher as well as the subject.
Yes, yes, yes.
After transcribing the message, which forms the text of Study Guide 19B, I realized that we, male and female, in our ignorance, have relegated the words, a nation can rise no higher than its woman.
Males and females have relegated the words that a nation can rise any higher than its woman to a motto.
To a motto.
See, brothers, we got to get out this male concept of reality, reflecting that brown germ. No, no, no. And we do our women an injustice.
Right.
We'll send her into sin because we've yet to accept the reality of God for ourselves.
That's right.
Come on, baby.
In reality, it is divine law. Okay? A nation can rise no higher than its woman. That's divine law.
Divine law. I mean, this wisdom is coming after the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan left from his more than a vision-like experience on the wheel, given directions from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is alive and well. Come on, baby.
That's right. Okay, page 62, it says, at the core of this study guide is Surah 19 of the Holy Quran, named Maryam, after the mother of Jesus. It is my sincere belief that the minister's sensitive analysis of this exquisite woman and his complexion of the revelation concerning who and what she truly represents will take us to a new level of thought, and from that new level of thought we will produce the new reality.
See, will take us to a new level of thought, black men and women. See, the Caucasians' time is up. It is our time now. That's why we're doing the timeline of the original man. His is up, ours is in.
That's right.
He made devils, we are gonna make gods.
That's right. Beautiful.
Come on, baby.
The willingness of each of us to understand, accept, and live in accordance with this higher aspect of self-improvement will determine whether we can continue on the journey into oneness with the law God.
Whether we can continue on the journey in accordance with the oneness of God. Now, in the first phase or the first resurrection of the teaching of Elijah Muhammad, as I've mentioned before, they flunked the test. But again, they can come back and sign a form for today, and they'll be welcomed back into the Nation of Islam. But we must take this test over again. We're taking it right now while we speak. If you're a Muslim follower, or if you're a believer in God, you have to see that there's something going on. A new change is being made on this planet.
That's right.
And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the criterion or the standard for that change.
That's right.
Read on, baby.
She says, this advanced level of self-examination may prove to be difficult to handle because it is in direct opposition to the white man's framework of exploitation.
It is in direct opposition to the framework of the white man's exploitation of what?
Us, of women.
Of the woman.
Right.
The second self of God.
That's right.
Destroy the male. Preserve the female.
That's right.
Now she's the woman of God and your time is up. Come on, baby.
She says, what I am trying to point out is that this world, even in the so-called God-fearing societies rejects the feminine side of the nature of Allah God.
Wow.
For centuries, both men and women have been taught to view the female as a lesser being.
As a lesser being. And that was why when Prophet Muhammad, when he was given the revelation to read and began to establish Islam by writing the Quran, one of the first things he did was to cover the woman, to get men to stop using her as some tart or some candy that they can use in this God at will. And that's what we as black men are going to have to do as well. We got to come out of the mindset of the white man and his disrespect, especially for our woman.
That's true. And even at that time of Prophet Muhammad, I mean, it was to the point where they were burying the female children.
Good point, baby.
If you gave birth to a female child, they would kill the child because they wanted only male children, which really don't even make sense because a male can't be born without a female to come through.
Come on.
But that was their mindset at that time.
At that time.
And it's still bad over there today, but Prophet Muhammad, you know, he did a great work in
Yes, he
at
did.
least stopping them from killing our babies.
Peace and blessings of Allah forever be upon him.
Ooh, yes.
Come on, baby.
Okay. The ministers summarily dismissed all time-honored labels of inferiority and demands that the black woman reconnect with Allah God immediately.
Immediately.
His changing test, his challenge tests the emotional stability of men and women. Because even in the nation of Islam, many of us have remained comfortably immersed in the white man's concept of the black female.
Even in the nation of Islam, many of us have remained, what's that word? Have remained
Immersed in the white man's concept of the
in the
black
white
female.
man's concept of the black female.
That's right.
You know, later on in the reading, we're going to get into it next week. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan asked the question. That is, he made the statement that is obvious.
Yeah.
That brothers don't want righteous women.
That's right.
He didn't say a man. He said brother. That's an in-house statement.
That's right.
You know. But how you gonna give birth to a God unless the woman you got has the same knowledge that you have when it comes to God? Yakub couldn't make a devil if he allowed the darker women to have relationships with lighter men. He could not make his devil. So he did what was called genetic engineering.
That's right.
Selected breeding. Your select as a male for a wife is an MGT. Get you something other than that and you might be putting some fire in your belly. Don't be afraid of this, sister. She's here to help you produce. Come on, baby.
This message rejuvenates beyond the physical and literal. Virgin. Long lost to most women. Let me read that again. This message rejuvenates beyond the physical and literal virgin, long lost to most women. Yes, a lot of women have lost their virginity, but still, it says the black woman can become the spiritual virgin Mary.
Yes.
A truthful woman, a woman untouched by the need to be validated by a man.
By a man.
A woman who cannot be overpowered by emotion, seduced, or humiliated.
Okay.
Point.
The YouTube will be going off soon, the camera for YouTube, but we're going to continue this reading with our live presentation on Facebook, please. Okay. Thank you.
A woman who cannot be overpowered by emotion, seduced, or humiliated. A woman who measures her self-worth through the thinking of Allah God.
That's the kind of woman that Mary is. And there are six Marys. It talks about the 6 Marys in this study guide on page
Supreme Wisdom, which is a study guide.
Yes. It talks about it on the study guide on page 37, the 6 Marys in this particular study guide. Okay? And it asked the question, why are men so fickle on that same page?
That's right. Okay, it says, I sincerely hope that men, as well as women, will appreciate the wonderful opportunity for growth and change that is contained in this study. We have been severely handicapped as a people because of the woman's absence from the deliberative process in government, business, education, and especially religion.
Come on. You know, we want to relegate her. Even some of us in the Nation of Islam believe that that's what she's supposed to do. Just stay in the house and raise children, have babies, even though sometimes you can afford it. Sometimes you can't afford it and she's out there working, but when she become pregnant with new life, then your job is to take the responsibility, even if she still helps you to make sure the home is secure. But read that again, because that's key.
Okay.
About what she
We have been severely handicapped as a people because of the woman's absence from the deliberative process in government, business, education, and especially religion.
And especially in religious contents. Because most preachers, Christian preachers, they can't even imagine a woman being speaking from their pulpit.
That's right.
You know, they can't imagine that. In fact, the minister, some preacher made a statement to him about he wouldn't dare allow a woman to speak in his pulpit.
That's right.
I mean, just feminine. I mean, just what do you call it? Sexist.
Yeah.
You know, and the minister told him, you wouldn't allow a woman?
Your mother would.
You wouldn't allow a woman to speak? Well, what if Jesus, Mary, wanted to come and speak from your pulpit? Would you allow her? What if your mother, who gave birth to you, wanted to come and speak from your pulpit? I mean, he shamed him by letting him know, emphasizing to him the value of the woman and the feminine characteristics of the nature of God.
That's right.
Second Samuel.
Okay, it goes on to say, we have not been able to benefit from the intelligence and problem-solving skills of more than half of our population.
Wow.
The most insidious self-inflicted injury has been the resilience